Bolts of Science. I am your host, Cynthia, and on today's show, we will be investigating on the sun and moon. First off, we'll be talking about how and when the sun was formed and what it means to us here on Earth. Then we'll be having an interview with Dr. Nosom, who will be telling us a bit about the moon. Now, do any of you know when the sun was formed? Well, the sun was formed around 10 million years ago. The sun was formed by a bunch of gases swirling around in space. Those gases started swirling faster and faster, and then gravity pulled them all together. In space, we have clouds full of gases that formed into balls. We call them stars. Those gases in the clouds that form the stars are mainly hydrogen and helium. But the cloud that formed the sun is a little different. It was thought to have more elements than other clouds. The sun is mostly made up of hydrogen and helium. However, the elements of the periodic table all the way to iron exist in it also. Here is a periodic table of the elements. It shows different elements which are like ingredients to make up everything around us. For example, here is hydrogen and here is oxygen. Together, they make up H2O, which we know as water. Remember, those clouds have hydrogen and helium. But the sun has hydrogen, helium, and all the other elements up to iron. Now we're going to cross over to Nellie Rose, where she will be talking about how big and how far the sun is and how long it takes for light to reach the Earth. Over to you, Nellie.
Thanks, Cynthia. Hey, all you science fiddlers. Have you ever thought about how far or how big the sun is? Well, if you ever did, I'm here to answer those questions for you. The sun is 1.4 million kilometres across and is 4.4 million kilometres the whole way around. Wow, imagine walking around that. In fact, it would take 109 Earths side by side to make up the sun's diameter. The distance between the Earth and the sun depends on what position of its orbit the Earth is in. But the average distance is 150 million kilometres. Also, if the Earth is the furthest from the sun, which occurs around the first week of July, the average distance is 152 million kilometres. However, if the Earth is at its closest to the sun, which occurs around the first week of January, the average distance is 142 million kilometres. So, if the sun was the size of this basketball, then the Earth would be the size of this teeny tiny little itsy bitsy pinhead. Yep, that's right, tiny. Remember, it would take 109 of these teeny tiny Earths to make up the huge width of this sun. So what about the distance? You would think that the sun would be pretty close to keep us all warm. But if this was the Earth and this was the sun, they would be this far away. Whoa, that's a long way. So, with the Earth so tiny and the huge sun so far away, how long do you think it would take for light to reach the Earth? Wow, my science fiddlers, I'm glad you asked. It takes about 8.5 minutes for light to reach the Earth so that we can see it. It's about the same length of this whole entire show, without the ads. Mind-boggling fact. Back to you, Cynthia.
Wow, that was some really interesting stuff. Thanks, Nellie. Coming up after the break, we'll be talking about different types of light produced by the sun. But first, see if you can answer this quiz.
What gases are in the sun? A. Hydrogen, B. Helium, or C. All the elements up until iron?
Are you looking for something new? Something thin? Something to totally change the way you do things? Well then, you are looking for the all-new Apple iPad. You can capture the things you love, email the ones you love, and play the games you love. It's big enough to enjoy all that you are watching, and light enough to take all the places you go. iPad, changing how we love.
What gases are in the sun? Answer: C. The sun has all the elements up until iron.
Welcome back. Did you get the answer to the quiz? Well, now on to the types of light that the sun produces. The sun makes more than just light we can see. Here is a picture of the electromagnetic spectrum, or what we call the light spectrum. You can see that only a very small white line in the middle is light visible to our eyes. All the other types of light we can't see. UV light we can't see, but we can tell it is there because it burns our skin if we don't use the right sun protection. We all use radio waves and microwaves on a regular basis. But what about infrared? Well, we can't see infrared either, but we can still use it. Infrared is the light that we use on our remote controls to control the TV. If you point your TV remote at the lens of a camera, however, you will be able to see the light. Can you see anything? No, but if you point it at a lens, you can see. But the light from the sun is more important than just being able to control our televisions. Humans, animals, and plants need light, and without light, we would all die. You might notice that plants always have their leaves facing towards the sun. That's so they can absorb the energy so they can grow. Not all of the sun's light is good for us. When we are out in the sun, we need to remember to wear a hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen, and sensible clothes. And if we're in the shade, use it. After the break, we will be talking to Tim Nosen, who will be dropping in for an interview. But first, here is another quiz.
It takes 1 day for Earth to orbit the sun. True or false?
Hi, and welcome to My Five for Coles. Are you looking for bargains for your kids' lunches? How about Kraft's cheese snacks, 2 for $5? Or peanut butter, a low price at only $2.50? How about John West tuna varieties, 4 for only $5.50? Can you believe that? Or bananas at a low price loves Spam. Yum-o. That's my 5 this week at Coles. Down, down, prices are down. For years I've been trying all these different hair products, but nothing really seems to work. Nothing can control my dry, unmanageable frizz. Well, nothing. Until now, the amazing organic care made my hair shiny, bouncy and looking beautiful. The formula gets right down into your roots. Organic care. Beautiful hair for beautiful women.
Answer, false. It takes the Earth 1 year to orbit the Sun.
Welcome back, and welcome to you, Dr. Tim Nosen. Thanks very much, Cynthia. It's a pleasure to be here. Dr. Nosen, you've been studying the moon and sun for some time now. What can you tell us about the surface of the moon and sun? Well, Cynthia, the moon and sun are very different to each other. As you were saying earlier, the sun is a burning ball of gases, where the moon is solid and the surface has many craters. The sun's surface is called a photosphere. The photosphere gives the sun heat, light and energy. The temperature of the photosphere is 4,000 degrees Celsius and can rise up to 27,800 degrees Celsius. Wow, that is hot. Imagine trying to visit the sun for a holiday. Well, that's right, Cynthia. Humans can't go to the sun or get near it. But we have been able to send men to the moon, where things are much cooler. The first man to walk on the moon was Neil Armstrong. The Apollo 11 was the rocket ship that Neil and his colleagues went to the moon in. It landed on the moon on the 20th of July 1969. Neil stepped foot on the moon the next day, on the 21st of July 1969. Wow, I can't believe humans have been on the moon. I'll plan my next holiday there. I don't think there are any hotels to stay on at the moon. Thanks, Dr. Nosen, for coming today, and thanks to you budding scientists at Aberfeldy Primary School. On our next week's show, we will be looking at what is inside the brain